Well, Razorback fans, it was a pretty quiet weekend on the head coaching front for Arkansas. Is it good? Is it bad? Doesn't even matter. Let's talk about it on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Inside Arkansas Live, which you can catch every weekday afternoon starting at noon on Inside Arkansas and InsideArkansas.com. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend during the bye week. I know we'll talk some Razorback basketball, and they did drop their first game of the season to Michigan State on the road, but we'll have some thoughts about that, as well as another legend in Razorback athletics gone too soon that we'll have to give a little tribute to as well. But I wanted to start, of course, with the latest in the coaching search. Not much going on. It's a funny thing, you know, this coaching search, because I was sitting there on Saturday and just kind of hanging out and doing some things around the house. And I was getting ready for Arkansas and Michigan State. And suddenly I started getting tagged. Started getting some DMs. So it was on the Inside Arkansas Discord of people just, you know, asking, all right, what's going on? What do you know? What's happening? What's the latest? Do you have an update? And I sat there and I'm like, no, I mean, nothing's changed. It's just kind of chill. And it's almost like people just don't want to hear that. It's almost like people, when this coaching search, want so much information that if they don't hear anything, good or bad, it just eats at them. You know, folks, there can be times where this coaching search is a very simple, like nothing changed type of deal. Doesn't mean anything good, doesn't mean anything bad. It's just there's not this constant back and forth that's going on. There's not this constant leak of information or anything like that. It's just a very long marathon process. That's what it seems to be. Just going with the flow of things. And I appreciate everyone's willingness to stay energized and stay interested in the coaching search, because coaching searches are always that interesting. I mean, they're that important, and they're that much involved when it comes to everybody being thrown around and the names that are being listed. And it's just funny because, as I talked about last week on the podcast, you know, the only people that I have heard from any source worth anything to me has been James Franklin and RYAN SILVERFIELD. Like, that's it. And the James Franklin angle continues to be the main one. It's the main target. It's the main approach. It's the main guy that they want, and they're going to keep going after it. And it's my understanding that they have a really great shot at it still. You know, it's a thing that they've put together some things that it's really interesting from his perspective. He's very intrigued by it. He's excited about it. And I think that there's a lot of people he's going to be talking to and trying to see if this is a job that he wants, and if he wants to make that leap to getting back into the SEC and coaching a place like Arkansas. But I'm going to throw this at you, folks. I have a little bit of an idea behind this, but there's not like a direct connection as far as the specifics. But I'm having this feeling that dating back to when JOHN CALIPARI got hired, it really opened up a lot of minds. It really opened up a lot of eyes from coaches across the country to Arkansas. Now, I know basketball is different. I know it's a very special thing when you have John Tyson and him being good friends and all that. But no matter who you are, you remember that as being something that was very impressive, very shocking, but very impressive. Like, holy crap. How did Arkansas do this? What made them so special? Maybe they really do have the money. Maybe they really do have the support. Maybe they really do have all the things that are needed to be elite level great. I think that people and coaches like a James Franklin probably really, truly saw that and said, listen, I don't know much about Arkansas or Fayetteville or, the people involved in the hiring or anything like that. But what I do know is that it was apparently good enough for JOHN CALIPARI to leave his situation at Kentucky to become the next head coach at Arkansas. That's not just a simple thing. That's not a guy who was fired from Kentucky and needed a job, and so Arkansas is where he landed. No, he left. He left there, a Hall of Fame coach, to come to Arkansas. And again, that just immediately sends up a little antenna that there's something over there in Fayetteville. And what could it be? What could it be that would possibly make someone to the status of a JOHN CALIPARI, which, let's be honest, when it comes to college coaches in all sports, he's about as big of a name of any coach in any sport. I mean, he's up there with the Nick Sabans of the world. So what was it about Arkansas that he felt? Because he could have gone anywhere else. He could have done anything else. He could have, most programs probably would have fired their coaches in order to hire him. But he chose Arkansas. Why is that? And immediately when they get that fascination becomes the interest. Because then somebody like James Franklin starts hearing about, yes, the money that's here in Fayetteville and in Northwest Arkansas. He also hears about, yes, of course, the idea behind, what this program can become, the fan base, the support system, the willingness to settle for, I shouldn't say settle, maybe that's the wrong term, but the willingness to be able to be patient with a coach a lot more than some other programs because of where you've been and the direction that you're going to be going, and having a new fresh start. Going to have a whole new NIL collective, going to have a whole new administration culture, having a lot of different things that are going to be transpiring. And to some coaches, that may seem pretty scary. Like, I wouldn't want to walk into that situation. Why would I? There's no stability there. You would think, right? But I think that there are some coaches, I don't want to speak for any particular ones, but I think that there are some coaches that look at what Arkansas has going on as a way to be able to make your mark, as it being yours. It's yours. I keep using James Franklin because James Franklin's the example, the leading way example here. But if you're James Franklin and you're like, knowing how badly you're wanted by Arkansas and knowing you're going to have the financial support, and they're already halfway through the door, but then also knowing that you're going to be given assurances as to, hey, we got this new NIL collective and you're going to be the main guy in the start of it. You're going to be the reason why it has so much energy, so much stuff behind it. And hey, you're also going to be, kind of developing your own culture, starting fresh. Everything's going to be yours and what you're trying to do. The football program and the entire administration needs an overhaul, and you get to be the leader of that. You get to be the one that establishes that. Not coming in, taking over after somebody else, and you're just, plotting and placing. You're the guy, and you get to be the one. You get to be the head honcho that nobody will mess with. You'll have full support of everybody, and you're going to be set up to win. Because I'm telling you right now, you could see other coaches at other places work and not work or however. But if James Franklin sees what JOHN CALIPARI has and what he's done and what he gets and what he's received, You cannot sit there and tell me that there was not a legitimate interest and legitimate appreciation and respect that Franklin has for the possibilities that could happen here in Fayetteville if he was the head coach. A lot of things have to happen. And this is no guarantee that he will be the head coach. But I feel that he's the guy that they're targeting the most. I think Silverfield is definitely someone that's been discussed. But either way, I credit a lot to the positive things that I've heard and the positive things that I'm going to say I reported, but I've talked about. The good things surrounding it. I credit a lot of that to JOHN CALIPARI because he proved and showed to the world that going to a place like Arkansas is not just a place where the expectations may not be as high or, you get to kind of just have some time and more patience. It's not just that. It's you get that with also the full-fledged ability and opportunity to succeed at the highest level because of the financial support that you're going to be getting. That's the best of all worlds, and that's something that every coach would love to have. And Cal proved that. And he continues to prove that here. And I think Franklin can be in the exact same boat, or any coach for that matter, be in the exact same boat if he's just given the opportunity. Well, Razorback basketball had an opportunity to take care of business and to win this one here over the weekend, and which was pretty frustrating, to be honest. But here's the deal, folks, is like we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down, and I'm sure everybody is going to be very, very cool about everything and whatnot, not thinking too seriously into it. But either way, we're going to talk about it, all right? So stay with us here on Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, Razorback fans, the holiday season is right around the corner, and that means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or fun serveware, or holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here to make your space shine wherever you live. And the best part, you don't have to wait. Wayfair's Black Friday deals are happening all month long with up to 70% off from sofas to spatulas. There's a thing that I'm going to be going through called moving here very soon. I hate moving. But I am upgrading from a very small space to a very large space. And there's nothing more embarrassing than having to go into a very large new space and you have a chair and that's it. I'm going to need some stuff that not only looks nice, but also is affordable. And with this Black Friday sale, you're not going to get anything better than this when it comes to Wayfair and all of your furniture and all of your needs for your space. So don't miss out on the early Black Friday sales. Head to wayfair.com now to shop Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR.com. Sale ends December 7th. Okay, so moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Frustrating, to say the least, for the Razorback basketball team. I was hopeful that they would go up there to East Lansing and take care of business and get a huge win in a very, very, very hostile environment. But they were unable to do so as they fall short 69-66. 3-point game, 1 possession game on Saturday. I got a lot of crap for that. And it was just too little too late. And now, listen, this is not the end of the world, folks. Arkansas did not play well, for sure. They did not do the things that they were supposed to do. They had some really tough moments, especially down the stretch. Really frustrating that Arkansas, Arkansas was able to climb back into it. They were down 8-10 points into that range but they stormed back and was right there and had an opportunity to even tie it. But it was just too little too late. And seeing Michigan State go the final 6 minutes without a field goal and still win is frustrating. But I still love the team, man. I feel like I'm Cal. I love coaching this team. But I still love the team. I love the fact that they played the way that they did, and they still almost had a chance to win. Arkansas played not great. They did not play great at all. And they still were right there. You had, of course, DARIUS ACUFF going back home to Michigan. Shot the ball 16 times. He had 16 points in this one, 6 assists, as well as 2 rebounds, 2 steals, only 1 turnover. So he was very good. But again, he and Malik Thomas, who also had 16 points, 5 of 15 from the field, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Both those guys made some freshman mistakes, and it's something to learn from. It's nothing that's like a negative against them as far as their development, as far as where they're going. They're going to be just fine. But there was some freshman mistakes that were made down the stretch. DJ Wagner actually played well. Had 13 points, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. How about that? 3J Wagner getting into there. But also had 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 steals. So really had some good play from him. But Brazil did not have a great game. He had some good things defensively, but it just wasn't clicking for him the way that offensively he was going to go. Only had 3 points, goes 1 of 5 from the field, had 2 rebounds, a block shot, and a steal. Nick Pringle fouled out of this game. He was pretty efficient, if you think about it. 6 points, 2 of 2 from the field, but also was able to get 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 block shots, and 2 steals. So, Nick Pringle may not have had did the stat stuffing for the offensive side of things, but did have some nice little moments there. You also had Billy Richmond had 8 points, 3 of 8 from the field, 6 rebounds for him, which was great. Karter Knox was able to play, but he did not play much. And when he was in there, he was not playing well. So that's another reason why I feel like Arkansas is going to be just fine. He played 18 minutes in this one, just scored 0 points, shot the ball 1 time, had 4 rebounds, but did turn the ball over 4 times. Just, it's going to take a little bit for him to get back to it. He'll be fine. But yeah, it's frustrating, totally, because you want to win every game. And of course, as soon as the game ended, I had to hear it from Kentucky fans because, again, Kentucky hate watch Cal like crazy and everything. And then I saw the video of the towel thing with Trevin Brazil, and it was something that I looked at and I was like, it looks bad, but then I saw another angle to where it didn't look like it looked like it could have been just an accident, and of course, Michigan State just be like, he should be suspended. Yeah, shut up. But a kid just looked like he ripped the towel out of his hand, but then it was also like the towel was getting close to his head. So I don't know. It's all dumb. And it doesn't really matter. It's not, in the grand scheme of things, it really, really, really doesn't matter. And so, but it's just like frustrating things like that where you just have to deal with the fallout nonsense because you got people that, because you lost, they are just like, when in the grand scheme of the season, it really doesn't matter. That's kind of what happens. Now, if Arkansas continues to lose some games, then we can start having a conversation about that. But going on the road in the second game of the regular season and one of the most hostile environments you'll play in against a really well-coached and very physical Michigan State team where you play poorly and you still only lose by 3, that makes me feel fine for the rest of the season. I'm not talking about moral victories. I'm talking about my feelings for the rest of the year. This team is only going to get better. When Karter Knox starts finding his role and in his groove, he's going to get after it. The 2 freshmen are incredible, but they make mistakes, and they're going to get after it too. I feel great. I don't like losing, but I feel great. This team's going to be fine. The next test that they're going to have, I know they got a few other games before then, but next, I guess UCA comes up tomorrow. But the next test is Duke, this team called Duke on Thanksgiving up in Chicago. That's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough matchup. And, if Arkansas wins, great. I'd like for them to play a little bit better. And hopefully they do. But Duke's really good, as always. We'll see if Arkansas can make it 2 in a row against them. But either way, again, sucks, frustrating, but it's going to be okay. Let's just see how the season plays out. I hate doing this because I feel like I've done it too many times, but it's just awful. You got to give a tribute to the passing of a legend in Razorback sports. We'll do that next. So stay with us here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, Razorback fans, NBA is back, college basketball is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything on who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you even get to combine your live bets into same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head over to FanDuel.com to sign up for today and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, so final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. We talked about the passing of a legend, Dave England, and who's been the team doctor forever and was just iconic and legendary in the lore of Razorback sports. But had another passing of another legend, this time in the broadcasting community, as it was announced that Mike Nail, the former Razorback basketball voice for nearly 30 years, passed away. He lived a long life. He was 80 years old, and it was it was one of those things to where he's been retired for a while out of being the voice. But I don't think people, maybe they do understand it. But he had the call of the national championship game, and it's always one that's going to give you chills. And I remember listening to Mike Nail growing up on radio broadcast, when it was Paul Eels and Mike Nail, man, it was hard to beat. It was really hard to beat. And Mike Nail was just always painted a great picture and always had a great broadcasting voice, and, had so many different levels to his game and was able to, that's the cool thing. It's like anytime you could be the voice of the Razorbacks in any capacity, it's always an honor and it's always very cool. But to know that this was a guy that called the national championship, that's not something that any football voice can say that they've done, or baseball or anything. This man called the national championship. You know how awesome that would be for someone like me who's been in radio, and I've done some play-by-play here and there, but to be able to do that, and to every single time, over 30 years ago, hearing that national championship and knowing that national championship and hearing his voice, hearing that call with his voice time and time and time and time and time and time again, it's just one of those things to where I wouldn't speak for him or his family or anybody, but for me as a radio person, that would be just like one of the coolest things ever. So really hated to see his passing. I know that there's a lot of people that were close to him, and his family's going through it. Of course, Jeannie Nail used to do the coach of cheerleading, and also I can't remember if it was dance as well, but did so much when it came to that element of Razorback sports and Razorback basketball. She did it for years and years and years, which was always so great. And so just, again, hate to see it, but an icon, a legend, and, he'll always have that call, those famous calls when it comes to Razorback basketball and everything alongside it as well. Appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter, John Nabors Show, for any questions, comments, concerns you may have. Keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.